When you're in that perfectionist mindset and just waiting for the right moments, that moment might never ever come. Because you'll always feel like there's more room for you to grow, more room for you to improve. You might feel like you need to experience more in life to lead people to. And like I said, that's something I've struggled with. But at the same time, I found a way to just work with what I have, and I'm sharing what I do have most of my knowledge within, and that's creating recipes or whatever, and finding my authenticity and sharing my perspectives on life. I know that it's impacting people in a positive way, and I don't know, I'm being put on people's pages or whatever, and they're finding me for a reason, and it's, helping them on their journeys, regardless of any doubts that I may have about the impact that it has on people. So you honestly just have to do what feels right, connect to your intuition, and if it's something you want to speak on, then speak on it. Like, I know you got stuff to say, you got something in you that want to be expressed. For you to even ask that question, I know you got stuff that needs to be said. So honestly, stop holding yourself back, because you're just gonna walk throughout life feeling unfulfilled. Think of every single day as, man, this could be my last day living on earth. Would I be happy, fulfilled, and satisfied if I had known that I didn't give it my all? If I knew that I didn't choose to spend one of these days actually stepping into my purpose and doing what I've been feeling called to do for so long, just because of fear? And it's just like, fear of what? Fear is not real. You are the master of that. You're the master of your mind. Your mind is playing tricks on you. You need to reprogram. It's so nice. I be wanting to blog now, like more. Okay, y'all, so let me put y'all on real quick. I decided to just go to a Sweet Green over there in the West Loop area. I had my coconut water too, and I even brought my own cucumber, because I know probably a lot of the ingredients, probably all their ingredients are not organic, but I was just like, why not? But I just really don't trust their cucumbers for real out of all of the ingredients. So I was just like, let me just throw my own in there. I had my knife and everything.
with me on hand, so I just decided to cut it up. I added some chia seeds as well. I was actually preparing for my menstrual cycle to come, so I know chia seeds are high in magnesium and iron, so I was just trying to consume them as much as possible. I know y'all might have y'all opinions as far as if you should eat them soaked or whatever, or just like that. Usually I do eat them soaked. I just felt called to just throw it on there, and I felt fine after. So yeah, do whatever works for you. And right here, I just really had to thank God, thank the universe for this meal, and really just, pour intention into it and just pray that it fulfills me, nourishes me. I made sure to get that spicy cashew sauce from them, from Sweet Green. That's one of their plant-based sauces. And yeah, this was a hit. This honestly was my best visit to Sweet Green in a hot minute, maybe because I jazzed it up myself a little bit, so it made it feel more special. And I had some mango juice with this as well. And now you guys get to watch me attempt to be aesthetically pleasing, I guess you could say, and really get in my film photography type of bag or whatever, videographer. Yeah, I just made me a little bit of tea and just did a little bit of promo for my cookbook. Make sure you guys tune into that bundle deal. I'm going to talk about that in the next clip.
I hope it's focused. Let's pray. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Halo's Kitchen. My YouTube channel is Chef A. I'm not in the kitchen right now. I am, on a little chill vibe. I just wanted to get on here and talk to y'all. I did mention on my Instagram story, if y'all not follow me, make sure you follow Halo's Kitchen _. Don't forget the underscore. I did post in my story that I would be doing a Q&A, holistic version or whatever. If anybody had any questions about my digital products, if you guys did not know, now you know. Chef A got some cookbooks. A lot of y'all still ask me to this day. I know I do need to work on really promoting my stuff more. I'm really working on getting better at that, even when it comes to me providing my services as far as catering and whatnots and doing the private dinners, and just really explaining how that process works for me, because I do get a lot of DMs and messages and questions all the time, so I may not be able to get to everybody personally directly back to their DMs, so I figured I would address all that in this video today. But yeah, y'all, I got this cookbook right here. This is Loving Vegan Food. This is my first cookbook that released. It has over 60 recipes, and it's actually one of the 3 books that is a part of my bundle that's going on right now. I'm actually planning to post this on Sunday. Let's hope and pray that it goes up tomorrow. Yeah, and hopefully earlier in the day too, so that you guys have as much time as possible to know about the sale if you have not heard about it already. But yeah, I'm selling all 3 of the books. I'm only selling the ebooks as a bundle, not this physical copy. Loving Vegan Food, I have Raw and Radiant, and I have my Catching Flights, Not Feelings ebook. And I also am, putting in a thing where you can also get 7 bonus recipes. It's a mixture of some raw recipes as well as some cooked recipes too. They're mostly the ones that I use to ease into my February fasting that I had just recently done last month, and also raw recipes that I had during it, because a lot of you guys were asking Chef A, we need the recipes. So I figured I would just give some of the most highly requested ones, because I know a lot of you guys like exact measurements. I do feel like I pretty much give away the recipes for real in the videos, but I gotta understand not everybody is necessarily a chef so to speak, or some people just prefer exact measurements so they can feel like the recipe is truly right, because I do feel like, yeah, you do just gotta know. I don't know, I just have an intuitive thing when it comes to the seasonings and knowing what's missing for something and knowing how to tweak things. So yeah, and I just kind of encourage anybody that uses my recipes, if you feel like something just doesn't align, or if you want to add more of something, you feel like my recipe could use a dash of this that it doesn't have already listed in the recipe, go ahead, feel free to add it. Make the recipes your own in your own way, because it's my recipes, let's say, my chicken and waffles recipe that I have in here, I'm sure you've seen many chicken and waffle recipes, veganized versions. And you know, they have their own unique twists. Mine is not like anybody else's. I prefer to add X, Y, and Z into it to really make it, you know, fit my taste buds. And I've, you know, designed all of my recipes in my books to hopefully fit all of your guys' taste buds as well. So I do hope that you guys find any of my recipes to be, you know, enjoyable, satisfying to the taste. This book specifically is definitely great for transitioning into the vegan lifestyle. That's what I really wanted to start off with initially with any type of products that I release, because I'm really just documenting my whole process and journey throughout all of this. Because if you guys didn't know, now you know, I went vegan or whatever about 2 years ago. I made that love phase because I'm trying not to attach to labels anymore or just have that, you know, that feeling of being vegan or that pressure that comes behind it, or just being placed in a box, I should say. Like, I'm in that era of like, you can't put me in a box. I'm just me. I do things my way, and everything that might be aligned with the vegan lifestyle is not aligned with me. Because I know, for one, veganism stands for more so the animal cruelty of things. It's not necessarily about health and wellness, which is more so the side of it that I'm on, and more so the holistic side of things. I know some of that is tied into it, like, you know, the original origins of veganism, but what the main cause is just not for me. Like, yes, I'm all for saving animals, you know, as least violence as possible, you know, if not none. It's definitely, you know, the most ethical, morally correct thing that you can do, in my opinion. But yeah, if I don't fully stand for what its origins are, then I feel it's best to just leave some things alone, and I just prefer to identify, you know, me as being me. These recipes is just being recipes that align with my specific diet. And if you find that my specific diet or whatever, my lifestyle aligns with yours, of eating no meats, of eating, you know, more plants, mushrooms and stuff like that, quinoas, and, you know, just the plant proteins, then my recipes are for you. Make sure you do not miss out on this bundle deal that I got going on. Like I said, it's going to be ending April 1st. I'm still gonna have the bundle available, to be honest. It's going to be at the discounted rates, like for the next 48 hours, I'll say, or whenever this video is going up. Just know that the sale is gonna go away April 1st, like I said. So yeah, y'all, and you guys can also order my ebook Raw and Radiant, and also get the 7 bonus recipes too, if you find that the bundle deal isn't within your budget right now, or you're just solely interested in my more so raw recipes. Because this one, though I do kind of like get away more from like the processed, you know, vegan meats and cheeses and stuff, it does still include some in here, because like I said, this is for beginners. So yeah, and then my Catching Flights Not Feelings, that one is a little bit more, you know, natural or whatever, and it's, you know, using mushrooms and, you know, walnuts and stuff like that. But just as far as the extra seasonings and me using the vegetable bouillons or whatever, that might not align with certain people's health goals or whatever. So that's why I've like added a little variety, and I understand a lot of people are really into my raw stuff. Like, a big chunk of my audience is really into eating raw and detoxing in general. Let me clarify that Raw and Radiance is not a book for a detox specifically. I apologize if it's ever came off that way, but I created that, you know, to fit within my raw reset. Me doing a raw reset is just my version of stepping away from cooked foods in general, but not necessarily something that's going to completely cleanse out my system, cleanse out all the parasites and stuff like that. Like, yes, I do prefer to still consume herbs and, you know, bitters or whatever while doing those. It's not with the complete intentionality of just completely detoxing and stuff, because I'm not necessarily in a position to guide people through a whole detoxification, because everybody's body is different. It's hard to really put it in one box of how to detox correctly when people have, you know, cancer, or they have whatever else disease where their form of detoxing may need a different approach than it does for me. So I just decided to create some recipes that can fit into your raw diet, and you can make adjustments if needed. So it's mostly fruit recipes, my infused water recipes, and, just a few of the savory raw recipes too, if you just find that you want more raw recipes in general, but not necessarily like for specifically detoxing parasites and stuff. So it's really more so, I would say, if you are looking for a detox, it's good for recipes easing into one before you go into completely juicing and just straight fruits and stuff. So yeah, but I also do have like simple fruit recipes as well in that book too, if that interests you. I also have some recipes that are good for easing into eating raw in general, like lighter, cooked meals such as, soups or whatever. It's like 2 recipes for that, and like 2 recipes for breaking your streak of eating raw foods. So that's just what that is. And it also has a section for guiding you, through setting intentions for your raw reset. Because I feel that being intentional is super, super important, and it's good for keeping you on track. I know that was a mouthload for promoting the books, but I had to get it out there. I'll probably, put some timestamps or whatever too, just so, if you're not interested in this part, you could just skip it. But if you're still listening, like, thank you. I guess you must really enjoy hearing me ramble on, because I know I can really talk. But let's get into this Q&A. Actually, before that, let me just give a little bit of an update as far as how Chef A has been. I have started to eat cooked foods again. As you can see from my, Instagram page, I still haven't consumed anything with grease specifically, at least at home. I did have 2 restaurants where I'm pretty sure they probably did use oil to cook the food, but it was just like stir fries that I had. Yeah, and then I went to this Mexican vegan cafe too, and I'm pretty sure the tortillas they use, they cooked it in avocado oil. But so far, my stomach has not had a bad reaction to it. I am still taking my slippery elm just to like soothe my digestion and just continuing to heal my stomach lining and stuff like that. So yeah, but personally at home when I cook, I'm still not using any oils to cook my foods. I'm just really being innovative and using spring water, because it's pretty much the same thing. I ain't even gonna say it's the same effect for real. Like, it is a difference, but I guess it's because of what I'm cooking specifically. It's just very simple foods. But even when I'm cooking my mushrooms, I find I don't necessarily need to add oil or grease to do that, especially I'm not eating anything fried specifically. And to saute something, you don't necessarily need an oil. Like, that's been that. Mental check-in, Chef A has been pretty good. It's just, all this astrological stuff going on. I've definitely been a little bit more feisty than usual. I don't know if y'all into that for real. Let me know in the comments if you keep up with the astrology and all the different transits, eclipses and stuff. I'm recording this during eclipse in Aries or something like that, I think. I don't know, but I know it's a lot of planets in Aries right now, so that fire is definitely up there right now. Especially just testing my patience with certain things. But I don't know, I'm learning to really embrace all of my emotions, even the more so quote unquote negative ones, like ones such as anger specifically. Anger is one of the easiest emotions to actually express and really let out, to be honest, because I feel like acknowledging something such as like, pain or, sadness in a way, I feel like a lot of people tend to run away from that more and just, mask it with anger. I feel like me personally, I've learned to have this negative feeling around being angry because of, one, how society, talks about how women should be, especially a young lady. They should be sweet, blah, 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 and just, not allowed to have these emotions and stuff. Or you might be seen as too aggressive of a person if you feel this way about things, blah, blah, blah. And just when you're on a path of really mastering your emotions, mastering your mind and stuff like that, and really trying to remain within that frequency, I guess you could say, of, the version of you that you seek to be, I guess you could say, to say the least. When you're trying to maintain that and really reprogram your mind, reprogram your energetic field or whatever, and get it more so used to feeling the more positive emotions, then staying within the addiction of feeling pain and negativity or whatever, staying in the comfort of that, I feel that it can be a little bit tough to revert back to those emotions once they do come up. But I'm learning to really be truly patient with myself and honor that this journey is, it's not linear. It's going to take time and patience, like I said, and truly some, love and kindness for myself. And I've learned, I can't really give that and, pour that into other connections within my life, especially romantically, until I learn how to gracefully do that to myself and give that to myself. And I've honestly been doing pretty good with that. And just, I don't know, to even give myself flowers for that feels very new for me. And it's really a beautiful feeling to actually be proud of yourself and happy for yourself. So that's been something as far as like, the other side of the mental check-in. I've been doing good, like I said. Also, when it comes to healing things physically, I was really excited, y'all, to get my next menstrual cycle, because if y'all don't know, I got diagnosed or whatever with ovarian cyst. And all my life, well, ever since I had gotten my menstrual cycle, I would have this intense pain. The doctors put me on birth control, of course. And the pain was still there, but mine was just really bad to the point of where I literally would have extreme nausea. I would throw up, and I literally could not move at all on my first day. Like, it was horrible. I had to stay in bed all day. I would get lightheaded and damn near pass out. So I felt like, the birth control was the only thing that I could really do. That's really what could control my hormones the most. And then after, getting more into the holistic stuff and learning what birth control actually is doing to your body, and that it's not really solving anything for real, and I would have to be dependent upon that forever, I, started looking into more natural ways of healing. And that's when I did come across this book right here. This is Sacred Woman by Queen Afua. This, it says, a guide to healing the feminine body, mind, and spirit. Honestly, I've had this for years and I have not finished it whatsoever, and I don't know what it is exactly. Like, I just keep getting caught up in other books. Maybe it just feels like too long of a journey, but honestly, I feel like that's just been an excuse, just with where I've been in the past or whatever, as far as just lacking discipline when it comes to, the self-care and just giving myself the love that I need. But I feel where I'm, leaning into now, where I am currently, I feel like I could definitely commit more. And I think also just the idea of doing some of the rituals and stuff didn't really resonate with me, because I don't know, it just the whole spells thing and making altars and stuff, I've never really found that resonated with me. But I do like, the yoga poses and stuff like that, and a couple of the other things, and the meal recommendations and whatnot. So I'm definitely gonna pick and choose what I incorporate into this journey. I really do feel like it's energetic, it's generational trauma or whatever that my body's just holding on to, when it comes to my menstrual cycle really hurting me this bad. And it's like my body is conditioned to just go into flight or fight mode when my cycle is here and it's approaching. It's like I just have such negative energy around my first day especially. It's like I've grown to expect it, so why would it not continue to manifest as being that? And then also just the impatience that I've had, and just being unrealistic when it comes to the process of healing, and understanding I have to be consistent with things, understanding that things take time too, because it's like I can't expect to just take, the herbs consistently for like 2 weeks, then stop for a couple of days or whatever. Then I might take it, after a couple of days, take it this day, and then skip another week or something. Like, that's just not how that works. So I've definitely had to check myself as far as consistency, discipline, and really seeing, well, why hasn't my approach, at least with the physical things and taking my herbs and stuff like that, and also doing my meditations and forms of like releasing trauma and stuff from it, and doing my journaling, like, if I'm not even consistent with that, how do I expect things to really progress and move forward? And not even just that, like I said, the meditation part of things, if I wasn't doing that as intentionally or consistently, how can I expect results for real? So of course it's going to continue to be the same. And again, that expectation that keeps manifesting, I literally put myself in the same reality of, you know, getting nauseous on that first day. But one thing that definitely felt different about this recent cycle is I literally was just sitting with myself and I accepted that it was still there, and I didn't feel that urge to just give up and like defeat or whatever. I did feel a little bit of defeat. I don't want to say defeat, but I felt disappointment still. Like, damn, I thought I really was doing something this time, because I was drinking clove water before. I was making sure to up my take on my magnesium and iron, and so I was, you know, eating, you know, chia pudding or whatever, and, you know, taking my herbs or whatever before. I don't feel like I was taking it long enough, the herbs, to strengthen my uterus, or if I'm supposed to take them to soften them or whatever before my cycle. I forgot which one, but I was taking like chaseberry or something. I had taken that for like 2 days, I think, which isn't really long enough to get those results. Like I said, I just be expecting that stuff instantly, like, and that's just not how that works. I got a Mars in Sagittarius, so maybe that explains a little bit. So yeah, just understanding I just really need more structure around these things, and also a balance of like flow with it as well, and gentleness and patience. So yeah, it's just really tweaking some things I feel like has been my downfall, I guess you could say. I don't even want to use that, that sounds so negative, but that's just been where I've needed to just make adjustments so that I can get the results that I seek and desire and that I know I deserve. But even through all that pain, I was really still smiling too. Not to sound like a weirdo or like I'm crazy or something, just smiling while I'm cramping and I'm over here just, I can't be still. I'm like, oh. But I was literally just, you know, making myself sit through the meditation. I had to cut on a guided meditation because I couldn't just like focus on my own, to be honest. So I turned on like a Joe Dispenza meditation, and I was just breathing with myself constantly, like, just breathe, Angel. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. And, you know, for a second, I just smiled to myself, like, wow, I'm like really trying and showing up for myself. I'm not allowing this to defeat me. Like, no, I'm going to figure this out this year. Like, it's been too long of me trying to like really figure out what it is exactly. Like, I must find out this year, and I must put in all my efforts, actually putting in efforts, and see how much I've actually been holding myself back and been the reason for things being delayed. Like, it's because I'm not putting my 100% effort forward. So it's like, just to know that I'm doing that now, and even giving myself grace for not doing that in the past because of just how I was conditioned to be or whatever. I was conditioned to be a quitter sometimes. I was conditioned to be impatient, to be unrealistic with my expectations, to put in half-ass effort but then expect different results. So it's just like giving grace to myself for that, because it's just like, that's the environment that I grew up in. Like, I can't be too upset, but what I can do is make a difference and choose differently every single day. Like, especially the more self-aware that I become. Once I become aware, it's up to me to make the choice to change. Like, you either choose the same thing, or, you know, you switch up your routine. So yeah, you want something to shake, then you need action or whatever. So if I can take action within like work, making recipes and stuff like that, I can put that same action towards self-care. And if doing something like this that's more unfamiliar, that hasn't really been, you know, an example for me growing up, or even like within friend groups and stuff too, like if it's not common, some of the things that I'm choosing to do and the path that I'm choosing to take with my healing, if it's just not something that I commonly see, it's just choosing to trust myself and, I don't know, just be open to trying something different, because, you know, what works for other people might not work for me or might not resonate with me. I feel drawn to take the more holistic route. So like I said, no birth control, but I am definitely into all those herbs or whatever. I don't know if I'm gonna feel like typing them out on the screen, but in April I probably will be sharing me making my own capsules or whatever. I'm gonna be making a lot more things from scratch during April, and really just taking my power back in a way. I've also been really feeling that throughout the month of March, and not feeling like, I don't know, defeated. Just really escaping the feelings of defeat, because there's always a way through anything. There's always a way for you to pivot and just make the most of what you got with the situation that you got. Like, I have the funds to be able to create my own stuff. If I don't have the funds or whatever, or if I feel like it's not worth it or worth the risk or whatever, or if I just feel more drawn to do things naturally and just make my own stuff to save money, then I'm going to do that, instead of paying for somebody else's herbs or whatever that they say work that may not work. I don't know, especially since it's a path that I'm really drawn to, really showing people the way to make their own stuff, because I feel that a lot of people do overcharge, and they kind of have to, in a way. Sometimes, a lot of times it is because of greed, but also inflation and just being in America. It's just like prices are crazy, and I understand the struggles of, having all these different responsibilities to handle. So yeah, I'm really just trying to make a way for myself and also for other people that might be, in a similar situation as me, where they are trying to budget things out more and, really find a way through anything. Even if that's just one thing at a time, one step at a time. So if you're interested in healing your cramps naturally, your menstrual cycle and your womb or whatever, in a more natural, holistic way, in ways that you can do that at home by creating your own stuff, then definitely follow along on my journey. I'm going to share as many tips and tricks as I can, and yeah, in the most affordable ways for you. Now I can finally get into the Q&A. Like I said, I really can chat, can't I? So, let's see. What's the first question? Somebody asks, I want to ask you, how do you motivate yourself, your lifestyle, the things that you do? So, as far as motivation, I don't even like to use that term. I am very much a discipline over motivation type of person. Though I do feel like you can kind of get like a dopamine boost or whatever motivation from listening to people that, reflect that mindset that you want to step more and more into, like, and just hanging around certain people that are on that wavelength of, like, matching your goals or striving after the same goals that you're after, people that have already been there and, that are preaching to you the way to get there. And, just reminding yourself of that and really filling up your subconscious mind with that type of content too, if you're on social media, rather than some unnecessary stuff that really doesn't matter, that's really, feeding into the agenda that they have to keep us distracted and keep us out of, really stepping into our power in a way, and taking control of our minds and of our health and our peace. So my routine with it, as far as my discipline, first of all, it comes from a place of self-love and also being absolutely tired. I don't know, like, whoever asked this what type of, lifestyle, well, what your life has looked like growing up, but me personally, I just grew up not really having it all for real. And not to say I had like the worst, most painful childhood ever, but I definitely had my downs. And just kind of being more on the less fortunate side, I guess you could say, not really the wealthiest, more so low class type or whatever, as far as financially. So I was just taught to value things more, appreciate the little things, and again, I just have that mindset of working with what I got until I can get to where I want to be. And at first, I was not great at like handling that, and I would get very discouraged, especially if things just weren't turning out the way that I want to, like immediately. Because it's very easy to do that when you're trying to heal, or let's say you want to exercise more. It's hard to keep going, like, especially if you have that goal of, reaching a certain physique and whatnot, and you're impatient with that. Like, if you don't see the results within like a month or two, you're ready to give up. But it has to be an important reason why behind things, to say the least. And again, my reason why is just to love me, to break the generational cycles and be the change rather than wish for the change. So it's really just that simple mindset shift that it takes. So yeah, I just suggest that you find your reason why that's gonna make it, unbreakable. you just have to really be tired enough. And I've been tired my whole life, and especially around December last year, that was like my last strike. Like, I'm absolutely extremely tired, and I'm tired of being tired, and I'm tired of being stressed out as a result from being tired too, because it literally was making me, sick on the inside and causing me to hold on to all this pain, anxiety, anger, resentment, all these different emotions that really don't have to be clung on to. I could really just free myself and let go. So that's my motivation. Challenges in life. Somebody said, I want to learn this. How can you teach me? I'll pay. Yeah, I do get that a lot. People asking me if I do like coaching. I do not currently. It's just when it comes to teaching things, I feel most confident when it comes to just giving out recipes as of right now, and coming up with like natural alternatives with things, and just sharing what I personally do. But it's never coming from a place of me telling y'all what to do. It's just, if it resonates with you, listen to your intuition. If you feel like it might work for you too, then feel free to do it. I'm still within my experimental stage and learning and filling myself up with knowledge from my experience before I step into the mode of truly being a leader and helping people. In a way, I know I'm still leading and influencing regardless, but yeah, I know that one day that's likely to come, as far as me really stepping into a teacher role though, and maybe I will one day become some sort of life coach, mentor, or health coach. Like, I really don't know. But it's when I really do step into that mode of like training and being around the right people and just feeling confident enough within my abilities to really lead others like that, because I don't play about that. I feel like that's very serious, and it would be a very impactful role to take on. I got a lot of love up in here, so when I do things, I want it to be my absolute best, I guess you could say. And I know that's kind of like to say, because the best is just like, it's always improving. Like, it's always going to be room for improvement. So at some point you do have to just start things and not be too stuck in a perfectionist phase. But genuinely, I don't feel like it's necessarily the right time to fully step into that, especially coaching. Somebody said, what's my favorite go-to snack? Honestly, I don't know. Ooh, dates and nuts. I don't know why I said I don't know. I definitely know that. My friends know that too. They be like, girl, you are such a grandma. Like, just sitting around eating walnuts and dates and stuff. Like, they think that is disgusting. But since I don't eat candy, I mean, what else do you expect? Like, this satisfies my sweet tooth. And that with a little bit of, chocolate, like natural dark chocolate. I'm fantasizing about it right now. Somebody said, I just want to make you my girl. Yeah, we're going to skip over those, because those are not questions. I be getting a lot of those too, and a lot of questions as well. Asking me if I'm single. Yes, I'm single. I'm not in a place where I'm looking to mingle. Of course, that's when the connections tend to come. That's when people are really attracted to you, but nobody has, crossed my energy, crossed my path to where I feel like, oh yeah, this is really worth me looking into and, pursuing further. I just haven't really felt that. I'm really on a journey of self, more so in solitude when it comes to, at least in a romantical sense. Like, I still got friends and stuff, but it just hasn't really felt time, and I have not felt that pull towards someone just yet. So yeah, that's where I am with that. Somebody said, if you were only allowed to eat one recipe jar for the rest of your life, what would it be and why? That's kind of tough. I don't know. You can't ask me that, like, because people be asking me too, like, what's my favorite thing to cook? What's my favorite recipe? I don't have a favorite. Like, as you can see on my page, I like variety. Like, I don't like eating the same stuff. I grew up eating the same 5 meals in rotation, and I just can't do that ever again in my life. So I can't even answer that. But let's say I'm gonna switch it up. You probably gonna be like, you can't switch it up, but I'm gonna switch it up. So if I had to eat one fruit for the rest of my life, it would definitely be watermelon. I don't know. I love that. Like, I remember I seen a guy, he was eating watermelon for over 100 days, like detoxing his system. And I'm like, I think I might actually be able to do something like that. I don't think I would ever go that long on just fruit, especially just that. But I could definitely see me eating that every day for the rest of my life if I had to. Somebody else said, not really a question, but I would love for you to teach me your cooking ways. That's exactly why you should, keep following Halo's Kitchen _ I'm doing my best. Somebody said, if I'm mainly eating raw fruits, what is a good cooked if I'm mainly eating raw fruits, what is a good food to transition to cooked foods? Okay, so in my Ron Radiant ebook, I do actually have recipes in there that are, designed to help ease into it, as well as on my page too. If you look at my posts, I do explain, my process of easing back into it. So those are some examples to guide you into it. I forgot what exactly I did this time specifically. I think I might have just had like a salad with some cooked mushrooms as one of my first cooked things. No, I had soups, actually, I'm lying. But it was completely oil free, so I'm not consuming any oil still to this day. And I've been eating cooked foods for about 2 weeks, and I'm still eating raw meals as well, because like I said, I want this to be a balance. I don't want to just wait until, every 90 days or however long I decide to spread apart my fasting to feel my best. Still recording. It's still recording, y'all. Okay. So somebody said, does your DNA feel different from before? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. Yeah, I don't know. I've never been questioned it in that way, but just me as a human, like I feel different. Yeah, like my body, I feel different. Like being on a plant-based diet. Yeah, I feel lighter, especially when I eat raw. That's when I feel my greatest. I feel like, especially just being in America specifically, just the horrible food quality and radiation and what they're doing to the water. Like, sometimes we just can't really catch a break, even like down to the hair products and just everything, certain fragrances and like scents that can really throw off your whole hormonal balance and everything. And yeah, so, but overall I would say yes, when things are really going good and I'm really consistent within taking care of myself, it definitely feels different and it's worth it. Somebody said, has your eyesight improved over the years of this lifestyle? I wish I could say otherwise, but no. Like, that is definitely something that I want to really, really go after next. I've been wanting to heal my eyesight for a while, but I was like, I don't know when I'm going to be able to do that. I feel like I'm going to have to wait until I find my life partner so that they can drive me around, because I'll be on the move. Like, I be having things to do, especially me being a nature lover. I got to go take my hikes. Like, and it's just hard for me to like to see the signs or whatever on the expressway without my glasses or my contacts and stuff. And I tried to go without them for like a week. I did it, but then I had to go back because it was just hard. And I was considering ordering something called it starts with a J. I might be mispronouncing this. Gibarito. I don't know, some type of honey or whatever though. That's supposed to help heal your eyesight. I just got to do more research on it, honestly, because I heard some people say it damaged their eyes. I've also heard about using eye bright too, but I have not gotten into those herbs. Like I said, I have sun gaze, but not consistently enough, honestly. But that definitely is something that I would love to do more, especially now that it's starting to warm up and I can just comfortably sit outside and watch the sunrise and the sunset. So, yeah. Outside of health and food, what's your passion in life? I have so many passions. I'm a very passionate person. I just love expressing myself and really creating. It makes me feel absolutely amazing to really be authentic and speak my truth. It's absolutely scary, especially in the beginning when I first started off. But it's fulfilling to know that, I can confidently stand in who I truly am and really inspire to at the same time while doing that. So I'm passionate about helping others too by being myself and just showing that. And I love music too. I haven't really explored as much with it as I would like to. I used to play piano when I was a kid, but I gave up on that. Like I said, I was a quitter. I didn't have anybody to teach me. And it was just hard to teach myself for real, but that's just an excuse. But I would definitely love to try that again. I want to start playing a saxophone, a harp. I want to do so many different things. I used to be heavily into makeup, um, trying out different hairstyles and stuff too, and colors. I used to do nails when I was a kid as well. I used to have like a little matching my nails with my headbands and bracelets going to school. You know, a little era in my life back in like 7th, 8th grade. But I really stepped out of that, and I would love to explore that more now. Um, Next, somebody said, do you do meal prep? I have a meal prep menu. I would definitely like to update it, but it's not something that I really promote for real. I just feel like vegan meal preps aren't that great when it comes to reheating that much, but I probably just need to brainstorm more ideas that could actually work as far as the reheating process. Because I just try to think about, more so balanced meals that people might look for, especially I know I have a lot of athletic people that, follow me, and they want to make sure they're getting all their calorie and protein intake or whatever. So yeah, but that's something that I could possibly, look into more, if you guys are interested. But that's just like not my main thing that I do for real. And actually, let me address that now. Like when it comes to me catering, doing events, I am mostly interested in doing retreats and private dinners. And I've just mostly done that for more so of like, people with like bigger names in the industry and stuff. Usually because they're the ones that can really afford it. Like doing this is expensive and it's a lot of work. So it's just like once you say your prices to people, like I finally got past that phase of where I feel like I have to shorten the worth of my products or whatever in my service and undercharge based on the amount of work that I do. And I know people might, disagree with that, especially because they aren't in the position of doing the hard work that you do and knowing what it takes to like go into something like that. They're just, looking at the price that you give them. So yeah. But I feel like eventually, I don't know, I definitely need to, I plan to at some point set up a website and system where people can consult me about doing events and catering or whatever, because I understand how unorganized it may look when it comes to that. And usually I just, go by DM, but now it's extremely hard to keep up with all the DMs because I get a lot, like every single day. And I don't have anybody else running my account, so I do apologize for anybody that I don't get to. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna get that situated. Somebody said, "Are you taking?" I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, what you do and how you carry yourself. I want to wife you soon. How do I buy from you? You can purchase my ebooks in the description below. Unless you mean food wise, just send me a DM and we can talk. Somebody said, how many peppers did Peter Piper pick? The world may never know. What do you do with your food scraps? I assume you mean like for juices, maybe? I still have those in my freezer, to be honest, from when I did my February fasting. I ain't did nothing with them, honestly. And I have even made smoothies and everything, and I haven't even blended them into there. I just haven't really felt like it for real, to be honest. I've been a little bit more tired in March, especially just doing a lot of energetic healing, trauma healing and stuff, and just really pouring into myself in that way, and especially preparing for my menstrual cycle and allowing myself to actually rest. And I feel like I have to be robotic when it comes to my discipline. Somebody said, are you vegan or just eat mostly plant-based food? Yeah, I don't consider myself vegan. I still eat honey, so that marks me out. So yeah, that's what it is. Somebody also gave their opinion on me putting she her in my bio and saying that it's like misogyny or whatever, and just I'm pretty much saying that sex is a choice, it's not a personality or a costume, just like race isn't either. Honestly, I don't know. There was I wasn't really trying to push a message when I put that. That's just what I go by, and Instagram had an option for me to choose that, so that's what I put. I don't really have an argument for that. You feel how you feel. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the things that people are like into and maybe feel is, I don't know, worth an argument. I just don't. I like to allow people to feel how they want to feel with things. I'm just not one to argue or rebuttal if you feel like something I do doesn't really align with what you believe. So, yeah, I hope you find peace with that. Because I can't really do anything about that. I mean, a lot of people in the world use pronouns, so I don't know what to tell you. Somebody said, I just want the chance to connect with you, Queen. Well, if the universe puts us in alignment. Somebody said, to gain weight, what products do you use? For self, I have a whey, but it's too starchy. Help, please. Honestly, at some point, I do feel like I'm going to go on a weight gain journey, but it's going to have to come from a place of me already being truly 100% fulfilled and accepting of where I am currently. I have talked about this in one of my previous videos, like the weight loss, experience that I've had, especially going into plant-based foods and me doing so much detoxing and fasting and stuff, and also just running off of a lot of stress that, takes a lot of weight off of my body. Like, I've experienced this before, even before I went vegan, where stress really took over and I just kind of wasn't as hungry with, yeah. And even when I was eating more so healthy, your appetite just kind of naturally decreases when you're plant-based. Yeah, but my meals just weren't really balanced enough, and I never took track of calories because I didn't want that to drive me crazy and just become too obsessed with it. And I don't want to get too attached to a certain look to like go after and feel like I'll only be fulfilled if I look like this, X, Y, and Z. I just want to go with the flow when it comes to something like that, because let's say my body changes again, it's like I have to learn how to be unconditionally accepting of myself in every physical form. And when the time comes, then I'll definitely look forward to sharing that. That's definitely in my plans at some point, to share healthy weight gain meals that you can have as a vegan, because I know a lot of people deal with that, and a lot of people have worries and concerns about going vegan because of the weight loss thing. People feel like, yeah, man, I didn't work for all this thickness or whatever, I don't want to just lose all that and, lose my curves. Especially like for women specifically, our curves are, in a way, it makes us feel more feminine, I guess you could say, and more like a woman. I hate to like say it like that, but y'all get what I'm saying. I don't know, I've just kind of detached from that idea that I have to look a certain way to be accepting or looked at as beautiful. Like, honestly, beauty comes from within, comes from the acceptance from within. Like, people could be, all different shapes and sizes, and I feel like that confidence definitely projects outwards. And even though someone may not fit within the common beauty standard, they could be one of the most beautiful people to a lot, because they just radiate that confidence and that aura and that energy because they love themselves. So naturally, it just makes you more magnetizing, and it makes other people more accepting of you too, especially people that are accepting of themselves, honestly. So yeah, honestly, the only thing that I could really say for now is love and accept yourself for how you look now, and just make sure that you go into it with a healthy mindset and don't feel like you have to eat unhealthily in order to get there, and know that there's natural ways. I know that apparently, more natural fats can of course help you. Avocados, eating Brazil nuts too, I heard can help you a lot with muscle building. Also, I saw today that pumpkin seed milk, alfalfa sprouts, I've heard can help you to build muscle. More coconut, yeah, quinoa and stuff. But just be careful not to like overdo it and eat too much, I guess you could say. But the more that you burn, the hungrier you are, the bigger your appetite becomes. You have to train your body to be able to consume more calories, but also without overdoing it and overfeeding yourself, because you can definitely do that. Somebody said, what's your favorite juice blend together? I would say my Ain't No Way juice, Ain't No Way OJ juice. It has papaya, oranges, turmeric, Black pepper, pretty simple, but it's very, very tasty. It never misses. I just wish they had organic oranges for real with the seeds. Haven't seen that in a minute. Somebody said, which cookbook should a complete novice start with? Um, Forgive me, I think my brain might be glitching, but I'm not really understanding your question. Somebody said, what advice would you give anyone that wants to start walking in their purpose? It's just kind of funny because I know exactly who's asking this. A good friend of mine that knows he needs to start walking in his purpose and stop holding himself back. So, I mean, I've had this discussion with you plenty of times before, but let me share it with the people. Honestly, know yourself, and you cannot be effed with. Like, as corny as that is to say, but that is one of the first steps. Not worrying about anybody else's perception of you, not worrying about being misunderstood or misperceived. I've been misunderstood my whole life, and I know this person that asked me that has been misunderstood as well, and it's like, we've been prepared for this all of our lives to be in that position. That's what a big part of what social media is too. People are going to have something to say about anything. I don't know if that's your personal reason for why you have not started yet, because it might, call for you to be in the public eye or whatever. But yeah, honestly, that should be the least of your worries, least of your concerns, because everything is just a projection that people put out there. When people be saying stuff in my comments, being messy or whatever, or they just got so much to say about a way that I live my life or an opinion that I may have, they are arguing with themselves. I don't got the energy for that. Like, especially when people are super nasty about that type of stuff and really just cussing you out. Like, baby, you're cussing yourself out. You're going on a war. You're at war with yourself. Like, I don't know what I did. Well, I know I didn't do anything, but clearly it's something going on within you where you need to take control of your anger and your inner place, because I've never been that person. No matter how low I've been, you'll never see me in anybody's comment section like going in and attacking them, or trying to publicly embarrass somebody. That's just not who I am. Yeah. Especially, I don't know, it's a lot of internet gangsters out there, people that really feel stronger and more confident to say something online than they would in person. So honestly, understand that you have the power to, not let certain stuff affect you. You have the power to literally cut your phone off, shut it off, and actually go out there and make your reality be your actual experience, rather than making entertainment be your experience of life. Make your life your entertainment. I guess you could say. As far as being confident to lead people, honestly, I still struggle with that myself, but I'm just a person where I walk even within my fear. Like, I'm still taking steps, because that's just my personal way of dealing with things. Like, the more that I do it, the less fearful I feel. And that just has to be something that you're willing to do, because when you're in that perfectionist mindset and just waiting for the right moments, that moment might never ever come. Because you'll always feel like there's more room for you to grow, more room for you to improve. You might feel like you need to experience more in life to lead people too. And like I said, that's something I've struggled with. But at the same time, I've found a way to just work with what I have, and I'm sharing what I do have most of my knowledge within, and that's creating recipes or whatever, and finding my authenticity and sharing my perspectives on life. I know that it's impacting people in a positive way, and I don't know, I'm being put on people's pages or whatever, and they're finding me for a reason, and it's, helping them on their journeys, regardless of any doubts that I may have about the impact that it has on people. So you honestly just have to do what feels right. Connect to your intuition, and if it's something you want to speak on, then speak on it. Like, I know you got stuff to say, you got something in you that want to be expressed. For you to even ask that question, I know you got stuff that needs to be said. So honestly, stop holding yourself back, because you're just gonna walk throughout life feeling unfulfilled. Think of every single day as, man, this could be my last day living on earth. Would I be happy, fulfilled, and satisfied if I had known that I didn't give it my all? If I knew that I didn't choose to spend one of these days actually stepping into my purpose and doing what I've been feeling called to do for so long, just because of fear? And it's just like, fear of what? Fear is not real. You are the master of that. You're the master of your mind. Your mind is playing tricks on you. You need to reprogram. I hope that helps. And just be loving towards yourself too. That might have been a little bit of tough love, but just do it through love. Somebody said, how long you been vegan? Well, I no longer associate with the term vegan, like I said, but it's been like 2 years for me, maybe a little bit over at this point. Somebody said, do you sell plates in the Chicagoland area, and how to book for a private dinner? You can DM me if you're interested in a private dinner. And I have sold plates before. I may start that again at some points. Don't know when. I don't necessarily have a plan just yet for that. I might start to do pop-ups at some points. Honestly, I'm just going with the flow, because when it comes to plates and catering and stuff, that's just not my passion, honestly. I know that it helps people to get into like the plant-based lifestyle or whatever, and you know, it gives them a different taste and, you know, different perspective on it, and you know, by trying something that feels more familiar or whatever. But I don't know, just doing it by myself, it can be kind of stressful, at least in the past it has been. But if I feel called to step back into that, I'll definitely be sharing that, of course. Just don't know when, but you guys definitely will when it comes. Well, if it comes. Whew, this is a lot of questions. Somebody said, what's one place that would be peace paradise to you? It's a lot of places. I'm trying to travel the whole world. What are some of your steps to manifesting the things that you want holistically? Practicing the energy of that manifestation, I guess you could say. I don't know if you mean like for health wise specifically, like if I'm trying to manifest me without, you know, the menstrual cramps or whatever, I have to be in that energy. I have to get my body and mind to actually believe that that's possible. And also accepting where I am currently too has been a big thing for me. You have to first accept where you are currently in the 3D, and also understand that you can choose differently right here and right now, and not constantly operating from a state of seeing your goals in a future sense. Understand that the future is now. You could already be embodying that energy and putting forth that, you know, effort and energy as if you already have that thing, and you just need to ask yourself, what would my future self with these manifestations or whatever, a manifestation of my future self, what would they be doing? Like, and you need to just start putting that into all of your daily habits or whatever. And I don't necessarily do scripting. I don't like have to write them out really anymore, but I do meditate heavily. I don't really visualize either. It's very rare that I do. If I do, I don't know, it might be very brief, but I don't really feel like I need it as much anymore. Somebody said, can you do vegan pancakes and share the ingredients? I have a pancakes recipe actually in my Loving Vegan Food cookbook, in my breakfast section. Yeah, so if you want to check that out. Somebody said, I'm just tuned in. Purple hearts. I appreciate you. Somebody said, cleaning products you recommend. I have not gotten that far, honestly. I probably will in April, but I know that Dawn, the dish soap, is not great. None of the Clorox stuff is great because all the scents and stuff. But I heard that you can use like baking soda and something else to like replace your cleaning products, but I'm not there just yet. Laundry detergent, I heard you can use Dr. Bronner's. I'm not there yet as far as that either. But as far as cleaning my body, I use Dr. Bronner's. I use Dr. Bronner's toothpaste too. Key limes for my deodorant. So I'm just to the point of where I'm learning how to clean my body first, and then as far as around the house, I'll eventually get there as well. Like, I'm just doing it one step at a time, but I'm sure there's other pages out there that can definitely give you like some tips. There's one page, her name is Plant of Zen. I don't know if it has an underscore, but she's always giving the tips and tricks as far as, you know, holistic living or whatever, and things that she uses. So I definitely recommend her page if that resonates with you. Somebody said, how can I get you to come to Houston? Hey, book me. I don't know. Like, if you got an event that you want me to do, and if it's feeling legit, then yeah. Somebody said, I want to have a vlog cooking session with you. How can we make it happen? I don't know. It has to feel like it's aligned. I don't necessarily know who you are, but somebody said, were you born in a household that ate vegan and plant-based, or did you transition on your own? This is all me. None of my family members have ever even thought about this. They think that it's crazy. They're more open to it now and like, oh, okay, yeah. I see that you're not going back to, your old way of living. They thought that this was just a temporary phase for me. Clearly it's not. And even now they come to me like asking for advice or whatever, health tips. They call me Angel Sebi, Dr. Angel Sebi. Like, what? That's crazy. But yeah, no, my family grew up in Mississippi, so they eat exotic. And my grandparents especially, they could never see themselves like eating like that vegan. So yeah, even when it comes to just my whole lifestyle approach and perspective and being open to long distance travel and relocating, none of that is aligned with how they think, how they've lived their lives. I feel like I'm really just going against the norm, going against the grain or whatever, and switching things around and following what I want to do. And that is absolutely amazing. It feels wonderful and freeing that I'm living in that authenticity and I'm gonna make things happen. So yeah. Somebody said, what's your inspiration for cooking, or what motivated you to start making your dishes? I've always been into Food Network since I was a kid. I, would watch that all the time. And I just thought cooking was so fascinating. I used to help my grandmother, during Thanksgiving or whatever when that came around, helping her cook. And I just used to be really excited to just create. Like, I'm just a very creative person. So any form of creativity that I could, get my hands up on, I would just be super interested in. Cooking was just amazing because it's like, whoa, this is food. Like, this is going to go in my body. I get to make things taste differently. And I don't know. And then to find out that I can do so many things from scratch, especially when you experiment with raw vegan food, I just feel like it's fun. Like, and people feel like, they be like, I don't got the time to do all that or whatever. Like, how I put it online and I make the time for it. People feel like they can't do that, but I've managed to find a way to make this the main priority in my life. So in a way, this is my work and stuff that I do, and I enjoy it. So yeah, I don't know, that love for creativity is really my inspiration. And even creating my world cuisines, like for vegan foods, I also have a love for traveling and a fantasy for that is about to soon not even be a fantasy anymore, and it's going to be my reality as far as actually traveling and trying out these cultural dishes. So yeah. Somebody said cheese crust ice cream is a challenge when it comes to plant-based and or raw eating. Please help. There's alternatives for everything. I don't know what to say. Yeah, there's plant-based cheese. I'm recommending Good Planet. If you haven't found any other good brands, Good Planet and BioLife is pretty good to me personally. Crust, you can make what is it called, spelt flour crust. I have a recipe in my Loving Vegan Food cookbook. Ice cream, there's plenty of vegan ice cream places that I feel like are fulfilling, and even just buying some at the stores, even though they're loaded with sugars like that aren't good for you, there's definitely alternatives that are like way better in my opinion. I never have really been obsessed with like the cow tasting milk anyway, so it might be easier for me, but it's just really a mindset thing when it comes to that. Like, you just have to be willing to sacrifice stuff. You have to be willing to eat for your health rather than the satisfaction of taste. That's really what it is. You have to go through an experience where you're willing to build up some discipline in your life. So I'm really surprised this has like been recording this whole time. This is crazy. My tea is all cold and stuff, but that is actually the end of the Q&A. I didn't think it would be that many questions for real. Oh. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And again, I'm really hoping and praying that I can get it up within, a good time frame or whatever. Hopefully Sunday in the early part of the days, because I do got stuff to do tomorrow. I'm going to an event, so let me know how you guys have been doing. If you have any other extra questions that I can try to get to in the comments below, or any other video recommendations that you guys have, anything else that you would like to see from me. And just make sure you go follow my socials and stay tuned for more stuff that I post. Y'all know I like creating stuff new, even if it's been a little minute since you've seen some diversity on my page and, you know, consistency. Just know that it's not too far off. It's not going to be long before I really start going crazy with the creations, because I just can't take a break for too long. Because like I said, it just fulfills me and I have to express myself. That's one of the biggest things for me in this lifetime, is expression in the most authentic way. So yeah, this is another piece of Chef A of Angel from me to you. And I look forward to, you know, continuing to impact and aligning with my audience that resonates with me. So yeah, if you guys, again, like I said, have any questions, let me know. Also, don't forget to journal more. Honestly, I don't even want to be strict on y'all to do that, because I haven't even been journaling as much. I've just been mainly meditating, but I definitely want to start journaling more, especially because I've been really feeling pulled towards my poetry a lot more in March. But I keep thinking of it from the sense of like, I don't know, preparing it in like a perfect type of way, or a way that sounds good as if I'm about to perform it or something, instead of just making the poem for myself. It's like I'm still bringing a perfectionism to my poetry, even though it's just a form of expression. And I definitely just have to break that habit when it comes to that, and not see poetry as work. Because I used to share my poems a lot of the times on social media, and I just gotta separate the two. But it's definitely coming back. I went to an open mic, which I probably did share earlier in this video, and that was super amazing and inspiring. I also went to a women's event by the Black Student Union at Columbia College. That was also super inspiring. There were so many talented artists there, and it's just beautiful to see people in their element and see people truly express themselves, even through fashion pieces. It's just really beautiful. Like, I'm feeling more inspired to start exploring and stepping out of the norm of, you know, and just embodying and wearing things that I like that might not be popular to other people, or stuff that people would normally put together. Yeah, and just being okay with standing out. Cause period. But yeah, y'all, hope y'all have a beautiful Sunday or whatever day y'all are watching this, and I'm sending y'all lots of love, peace, and healing. And let me know how your raw resets are going, or fasting or whatever. I know some of y'all are doing Ramadan, so definitely let me know how that's going too, because I know a lot of y'all said that y'all found my page during y'all fasting and y'all still had longer to go than me. So if y'all are still doing it, let me know how that is, or if y'all finished, let me know how it was. Okay, see y'all in the next video. Peace.